This is The Wire for 2300 Zulu, June 4th, 2025. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 2200. Bottom line up front. Manhunt underway in Washington state. Diplomatic efforts continue between the United States and Russia. Beginning with international events, in Russia this morning, President Vladimir Putin spoke with President Trump by phone, with the phone call being reported as serious but positive by the White House. Specifically, President Trump stated that the call was good, but also that it was, quote, not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. Analysts comment. At the moment, that's probably the best that the United States can hope for. Russia will indeed retaliate for Ukraine's recent drone attacks, though the time and place of such will be impossible to determine until it happens. On the home front in Illinois, an Uber driver was murdered over the weekend following an attempted carjacking or kidnapping in Colombia. At least 2, but possibly 4 assailants requested an Uber ride, but once inside the vehicle, forced the driver at gunpoint to drive to his own home. The driver initially complied, however, once he neared Colombia, he diverted to a local police station parking lot. The carjackers then murdered him and fled to the south through a local park. As Uber logs a considerable amount of personal information, authorities immediately identified the killer as Kareem Weaver, who was arrested on Monday. Analysts comment. Bad rides are becoming an increasingly common threat vector to be aware of, not just for Uber drivers, but also for Uber passengers. Despite apps like DoorDash and Uber very obviously logging who is using the app, criminals are still starting to commit crimes anyway without any thought of the extensive paper trail leading to themselves. In Washington state, a manhunt is underway following a series of horrific murders that took place over the weekend. Local authorities state that Travis Decker murdered his 3 children at Rock Island Campground after being granted visitation rights by a judge. Right now, authorities are conducting a search for Decker in the vicinity of his last known position in the Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest. Cellular data pinged Decker's phone within the Leavenworth area, which, after a brief search by local authorities, resulted in his vehicle being found at the Rock Island Campground and the subsequent discovery of the crimes. The suspect is a 32-year-old Caucasian male, 5 feet 8 inches tall, 190 pounds, last seen wearing a light-colored shirt and shorts. All hotels and campgrounds have already been searched in the local area with no success. Analyst comments for this wire. Locals have been warned to not make contact with Decker due to the safety concerns involved in this case. However, due to the horrific nature of the crimes, many local volunteers have begun searches of their own, independent of what local authorities are working, just in case he made it out of the initial search area. This area is notoriously rugged terrain that offers much concealment to the fugitive and offers many challenges to the pursuers. Decker has a 3-day head start, but he is very likely to be on foot as his abandoned vehicle was found near the campsite. The Wenatchee Police Department has stated that as of yesterday they believe he is still in the local area. As such, anyone who has information pertaining to Decker's location is urged to contact local authorities. This concludes The Wire for 2300 Zulu, June 4th, 2025.